Hello, I am Pastor Kelcey A. West of Nehemiah Ministries.
And I'm Pastor Kyle West of Outward LV right here in Las Vegas, Nevada. And we are so excited to be here on YLC TV every Thursday at noon Pacific Standard Time and 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Dad, how you feeling today?
Listen, I am so excited to finally be able to release and share generational wisdom.
I believe wholeheartedly that God has something special that's going to take place here. Listen, one of the things that we want to do is we want to make sure that we are helping people see that generations can work together. So I, of course, am from the younger generation. My dad is, of course, from the older generation. And one of the things that we want to do is put an end to the stigma that says that older generations and younger generations in the church can't work together. I have my own ministry. My dad has his own ministry, but we are working together to save souls in the city of Las Vegas.
That's right. So listen, every Thursday we want you to get ready, because the same way we're encouraging people to pass down generational wealth, we're going to pass down and share generational wisdom. So we want you to look forward to our Bible studies, our worship services, and guess what? Sometimes we may just sit down and allow you to see how we sit and talk every day as father and son. So stay tuned, get ready, because now it's time for generational wisdom.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Listen, I want to say welcome into a brand new episode of Generational Wisdom. Listen, if you are here, right here on the YLC network, I want you to know that you have made it to the right place. I am here with my dad, Pastor Kelcey West of Nehemiah Ministries Christian Church, and right here in Las Vegas, Nevada, and we are excited for what God's going to do. Listen, if you have not already, I want you to like, share, tag, invite as many people as possible into today's episode, because today is going to be very powerful. We have some exciting updates. I'm really excited that you're here. It seems like time has just been flying by, but God is good. He has brought my dad safely to and from Zambia, Africa, in the middle of a pandemic to go over and do ministry there, and I'm excited about it. So today we're going to talk about, the trip, talk about everything. So, Dad, how you feeling?
I feel wonderful. I first and foremost, and I say this not from a cliche standpoint, but I truly praise and give God all glory for safe travel. Yes, I was able to travel and spend a couple weeks abroad. I was in Zambia, Africa, so shouts out to Ambassador International University, shouts out to Gospel Link, shouts out to the amazing faculty and staff, to the team that I served with on this mission trip. But most of all, I want to give a great big shout out to the students that I was able to work with, especially the seniors, the graduating class of 2021. I had the pleasure of spending intimate time with them.
Yeah.
In the classroom, on top of the mountain, in the library, sitting outside under the stars. We prayed together.
Yeah.
We ate together. We studied together. We heard from God together. And so to those who know me, if I appear to be different moving forward, it's a fact. This particular trip, compared to the other two trips to Africa, really matured me as a man, pressed me, pushed me as a pastor. And so I'm just excited to really be able to sit here with you and declare and decree, not from a marketing standpoint, but from a vision standpoint, that I can say I saw as plain as day. But I sit with you. I share this with our YLC family. Shouts out to Elder Mark Moore. Thank you again for this platform. But I must present Nehemiah Ministries as a missional outreach church.
Yeah.
That's who we are.
Mm-hmm.
We don't play with the title international. The miles traveled, 9,641 miles one way, prove that we have a heart for mission work.
Yeah.
And so we are a missional outreach church. That's who we are. And that's the mandate, the call that's upon our life, and we're going to fulfill it in the days to come.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it, man. This is something that, to me, of course, is just not something that you can, take for granted, And I think about, just everything that has been going on within the last year and a half. The world really did stop, but, ministry didn't stop for us. We were able to push through, fight through, so much so, not just in our own city, not just in our own country, we went to Africa, and I think that's pretty cool, but I'm saying we, but, I feel like I can say we because you my dad, but, I think that's the coolest thing in the world to know that, that this is something that has been done. And so, to start this trip off, let's talk about, how do I want to do this? Let's talk about what was it like when you first got there, seeing that, we are in a pandemic, seeing that we are in a situation where, of course, people are affected by this virus, seeing that, there's a difference between how America is handling it and how the different, places within Africa are. Let's talk about that. How was that for you?
Well, here's my transparency. This is the transparency that, to a degree, I couldn't display prior to leaving. But when I boarded that flight, I had to be honest with myself. I did not know the medical climate of Zambia. Once I got there, I really had to focus on the ministry at hand. And it was one where, not from a cliche standpoint, but I really had to pray and trust that God would protect me, and then I could focus on ministry, and that's what I did. Not that I was careless, not that I was not wearing a mask, not that I was not washing my hands even more, not that I wasn't trying to keep some distance between myself and people. But I have to share this with you, Kyle. Was I concerned as a husband to your mother, as a father to you and your brothers, and as a grandfather, as a pastor to Nehemiah, as a community servant to many projects? Once I got there and I saw, experienced the hunger and thirst for the word, COVID became an afterthought. Again, not that I was not cautious, but it was no longer my primary focus. Kyle, there is such a hunger and thirst for the word, a hunger and thirst for righteous and holy teaching, to the point where my day was, I started each day, I'm up at 5 a.m. I need to have breakfast at 7:30. I need to be in my classroom at 8:30. From 8:30 to 12:30, I'm teaching. We break for lunch at 12:30. I'm back in the classroom, 2 o'clock. So from 2 to 3, then I'm teaching. After 3 o'clock, I preached a message, and I don't want to go too fast, but I just want to just set the tone. After the first message I preached, then it just circulated. So now I have people coming to the cabin, coming to see me. So it then became counseling beyond just going to teach a class at a university.
That's right. And I think that that's pretty cool. When we get into, the whole thing of mission work, mission ministry, and even going over there to preach, one of the things that you highlight, you said there's such a hunger. And one of the things that I think oftentimes is discouraging for a lot of American pastors, preachers, sons and fathers, is people are really starting to see that it appears there's a really confusing hunger in America, but over there it's clear.
It's different. Yeah, it's different. The preacher is respected, not just for the title, but for what's coming out of your mouth.
The knowledge.
And then you're respected for the ability to really honor Jesus by saying, "Follow me."
Yeah.
And so I'm in Africa, and there's a different watch. And I'm saying this, and I want leaders to really be just let me share my truth. In the States, I know I'm watched, and that pushes me to a place of paranoia. In Africa, I know I'm being watched, and it places me not in a position of being paranoid, but it places me in a position of accountability, and it really it's uplifting and it's encouraging to see so many people from so many different angles watching how you do everything.
Yeah.
And so that way, when it's time to teach, you can now feel is each day people are really receiving you for what you are bringing to the table. So by day 2 and 3, I'm no longer having to prove myself like I have to prove myself in the States after 15 years of pastoring.
Yeah.
After 15 years of pastoring, I'm still having to prove myself on some elementary stuff. Whereas after 48 hours in Africa, people are saying, "Man, let's pray for the prophetic.
Yeah.
Let's talk apostolic ministry. Let's talk about the deeper truths." It's just an unbelievable experience.
Yeah. And one of the things that I want to know, personally, I think that this would be something that would be really fun to touch on. Going over there, you're born in Pontiac, Michigan, in Las Vegas. You're pretty known here. It's not too many people that don't know you, like yesterday. Just transparently speaking, we're having lunch with the Raiders, and, that was huge. And you think about it, you go to Africa, what was the culture shock of knowing, I really do have to just go ahead and introduce Kelcey West to these people?
Oh, that's why I really want to take more pastors and servants and outreach leaders to Africa for that reason. It's a beautiful feeling to really be able to say, okay, this is who I am. And for people to really give you an opportunity just to present yourself, and not from a presentation standpoint, because there's no lights, cameras, there's no mics, there's no sound systems. It's none of that stuff. You're able to stand flat-footed and share your Easter speech. You're able to introduce yourself to people, and people are able to receive your heart. And they're really looking at the servant in you, because, again, it's not about the clothes. It's not about the size of your church. I was blessed to preach on a Sunday morning service at a church. Right now, there's no way I could take you back to that place. If we were to put behind us some footage of Zambia, there's no way I could take you to that place. But it's there.
Yeah.
It's in the middle of nowhere. It was an outdoor church. We would call it a hut. It's an outdoor sanctuary with the roof, as we know Africa. The seats are wood benches. They're low to the ground. That was the greatest preaching experience of my life, because I had to stand flat-footed, share my sermon with an interpreter, and then to see people who speak a different language respond with amen. Yeah, it's nothing like it. But again, you're standing flat-footed.
Wow.
Your American analogies don't work. You were like this. I asked the young men one day. I asked them, I said, "Do you know Kobe Bryant?" And they said no. No, the class, nobody knew Kobe Bryant. And then one guy said, "Wait a minute, the basketball player that died." I said, "Yes, Kobe Bryant." He said, "Okay, we know the basketball player that died, but we don't know the basketball player."
Wow.
And so, now I'm asking, okay, do you all know hip hop? Because some people were wearing hip hop attire. Yeah, we know hip hop. And so I asked them, well, do you know New Edition? No, we don't know New Edition, but we know Usher Raymond. So watch where I'm going with this. To leave a campus knowing they don't know Kobe Bryant, they know Usher Raymond, but now we are friends. We're now developing ministry, and people know us.
Yeah.
That's humbling.
That's humbling.
I'm going to say it again. You don't know Kobe Bryant, but you know us. That's very humbling. Yeah.
And I think about stuff like that because a lot of times one of the things that we love to do, especially as American preachers and pastors, we are very, we can become comfortable a lot of times when it comes to our reach. Mm-hmm. We can become very comfortable and lax when it comes to a lot of the things that we do. We can find ourselves in a position where we will say, well, I'm known this much, or I've made it to this level, so this is it. And I think when we talk about even like, a common term right now is GOAT. Yeah. And everybody is, calling certain people GOATs. I think it's very debatable how often we should even use that, because what makes a goat is their reach. Yeah. Is their effectiveness with whatever reach God gave them, and we talk about that all the time. But to be able to, like, wow, Kobe, y'all didn't know Kobe? Like, wow. And a lot of times we think we doing something because we have, like, 1,000 views on our live stream, but it's like nah, like there's
a place in this country, in this world. There are places in this world where people have no idea we exist. Just like we have no idea they exist. And so here's generational wisdom. I'm sharing with you as I'm passing batons to you, one generation to the next. Reevaluate how you pray. I want you to really reconsider how far you're casting your net when you are teaching and thinking about your evangelism. I want you to really go beyond the zip codes, the cities, the states of the United States, because there are real ministry opportunities abroad. And I say that as we speak right now, I'm proud to, just share in 2022. This is not wishing upon a star. Whether or not people sow into it, whether or not people like it and share it, it's going to happen. We're right now working on Nehemiah, Zambia. Yeah. There will be a campus. We're starting with one in Zambia, a Nehemiah campus. I went there. Not only I knew I had to teach at the university, but I had shared with the church. I am going there. I'm on assignment to find that person, that church to partner with, so we can do ministry in Zambia. And I was blessed to find an individual who's going to lead our Zambia campus. Then I was able to find young men that want to do young adult youth outreach. Home run. Yeah. Because that's what I want to do. Mm-hmm. So from a generational wisdom standpoint, going back to when you say GOAT, I think it's imperative that we really start to look at how we are raising up, where we're sowing our seeds, and we need to really start to evaluate the effectiveness of the harvest we're producing.
Yeah. And I think that's really good when you say we need to evaluate the effectiveness. What are some ways that you would say yields, they can begin to build a culture of effectiveness? Because one of the things I noticed that you said over there, you went over there to look for basically people who were prepared enough to do the work that you want to do. You're now realizing, okay, cool, it's going to take a year. The average American son hears a year and thinks I'm being held back, or I need it right now, I need it today. But you think about that, it's like, wow, a year. What are some ways to build that?
Yeah, I want to share it this way, and this is something for us to consider. I love biblical numerology, and the number 4 is God's creative works. Yeah. And so when we think about waiting a year, I literally went to Zambia. I'm sitting with a new church plant pastor, and I'm literally saying spiritually, without saying it directly, let's allow God to grow us in the seasons. Yeah. So we're going to need, Nehemiah's going to need, you're going to need a winter, spring, summer, fall. We're going to need all those seasons for God to do what we need him to do, so the plant will be spiritual. This is not something where this is about Nehemiah being creative and Nehemiah using its resources. No, it's limited resources. No, this is about us partnering with Africa, asking God, you open up that window. You release resources so we can do greater works. That's the need for the year. Yeah. Then it allows us time to really, like a marriage, let's get to know each other. Yeah. So let's take a year, let's become engaged. So that way, before we have our service, we've had a period of, let's have that betrothal period. Then when we say I do with a first service, we now have a marriage.
Wow.
That's the purpose of allowing it to happen and take our time over a year.
But and I really like that analogy that you just used. You said we now have a marriage, and I think that's something that we must begin to embrace even over here in America. Really being able to realize that the church is the bride of Christ. The preparation towards that official marriage is something that we don't oftentimes talk enough about. And I think a lot of times if we took that approach to say, yeah, I care about you, I'm going to get counsel, I'm going to get wisdom, I'm going to receive impartation that's going to set me up for, the right development, we could be in a better position. And I think a lot of times, because one of the things that has been real, and I really want us to talk about this, we love to talk about, I want to be known, I want to be someone who is used by God, I want to do all these different things. But one of the things that I had to deal with was, my dad, he went to, Zambia, and one of the things that happened was a lot of those guys, they heard about me and they started sending me friend requests. Yeah. At first, I was offended because I thought they were fake pages. Yeah. Now, we think about stuff like that in America and it becomes a joke, people make a fake page of you and the first thing you think is, oh my God, I'm gonna use this as clout and y'all go delete this, spam this, and then people in the comments, oh, you famous now, the whole preacher thing that people do. But oftentimes in America, it's almost offensive if someone from abroad requests us or tries to befriend us. And I had to check that immediately to say, no, we have got to, really break out of these mindsets. There's people in this world, that really do need what we have. And we have to really use wisdom and not find ourselves in a place to where we may be blocking the people that are called to us that we didn't even know we were called to.
Exactly. I'll share this with you. Kudos to you. It wasn't because I said, go follow my son. It made me feel proud for students to come back to class and say, we researched your son.
Wow.
Yeah, we went on his page. We've listened. We took last night and we listened. We listened to Outpour. We heard him preach. Your son is a real preacher. Wow, your son is a prophet. We listened to him. Now we want to follow him. And so let me make this announcement to YLC. I have been asked, Kelcey West, I have been asked to return to Zambia next year, June 9th through the 15th, I believe, are the teaching dates, and I think I'm off. But I have been asked to return in June. Let me just say that. June, we're in Zambia. Not only have I been asked to return, but they have requested your presence.
Yeah, let's do it.
And so June of 2022, they have asked for you to come as well. And so when we think college students, I went there thinking 18 to 22. That was the age group I was thinking. Well, my youngest student was 22. My oldest student was 33.
Yeah.
And so that changed the dynamic of the class. I went there. My assignment was youth discipleship. And let me just share this. I want to apologize for the classes I taught prior to this one because I didn't go deep enough.
Yeah.
This class and having that amount of time every day, because a lot of times when we teach stuff in the States, when we teach in our church, for the most part, it might be weekly. It might be sporadic because we don't always have that everyday commitment where people are going to commit 5 and 6 and 7 hours to one class. That's how deep we were able to get with youth discipleship. And so I'll be returning teaching that class, but let me just say that they're really looking forward to hearing you.
Well, listen, I'm telling you right now, I'm excited. Yeah. I can't wait to get there. And I'm telling y'all, it was a real thing. I'm sitting there and I'm on the phone with my wife. I said, I think I'm being spammed. And then I had to check that. So I'm just letting, every young preacher know, some stuff is for clout, but some stuff needs to be checked before we try to get clout. Mm-hmm. And let's keep our focus together. So I'm excited about that. And I'm definitely honored to be able to say that I'll be going next year. And I can't wait to be in Zambia and see what it's like for myself. Now, one of the cool things, I want to take a bit of a turn. You were able to find yourself in a predicament where you're watching, your reach expand. Can I ask this question for you? Uh-huh. How is it for you as a father to not let your reach get to your head? You know, sometimes like one of the things that happens is especially in America, we start getting engagements, we start doing different things, and the first thing we do is, your ego kind of get in the way. You start feeling yourself. The swagger goes a little bit, higher and things like that. How do you not allow that to get to your head?
Well,
you not to have a church in Zambia.
Let me share this with you. This is as real. Let me keep it 100. Let me drop a fresh rhyme over a dope beat. Son, I'm 50.
Yeah.
And there's a part of me that's watching a clock that's ticking, and I can't call time out.
Yeah.
Not that I'm speaking an early death upon myself. I pray for longevity. But as I watch that clock, I don't have time to feed my ego right now. Mm-hmm. I'm really focused on making sure I do that which I'm called to do. That's what's keeping me grounded right now. Going to Africa and coming back, I've come back with, I wish I could rest. I can't rest because I'm excited to get started on this work. Mm-hmm. And so that's something I want to share as we talk about generational wisdom from one generation to the next versus celebrating small victories so much. Postpone the celebration parade until you actually win the championship. Yeah. I see a lot of times in ministry, we're having parades over our first playoff win. No.
Yeah.
Hold off on the championship parade until you win the championship.
Acting like the Clippers.
Right. So here we go. We're going to plant a church. It's not time to celebrate yet. Yeah. We haven't baptized anybody. The word has not gone forth. We haven't built anything, established anything. So there's work to do. So now is not the time. Mm-hmm. And even to have people around me who might want to puff me up, that's bad for me. Mm-hmm. So even now I have to have internal meetings to share with people. This is not the time to be braggadocious about Africa. This is why when I went, those who I'm going to take with me, when we go, we are a part of the community.
Yeah.
That's why I was sharing the pictures, man. This is what I'm eating. This is what my breakfast consists of. For the most part, 2 boiled eggs. This is what my lunch consists of. Maybe some pasta, maybe some sauce over it, maybe tomato soup, maybe some fries, maybe some shima that we're going to eat with our hands. There's going to be some tilapia fish, maybe. That's lunch. For dinner, there may be some greens we're going to have with our hands, and maybe some potatoes. But we're going over. I want to share this with you. This is not the time to be puffed up. When I went over, I had access to a shower. I want you to hear this from me. I didn't shower. I took great wash-ups when I was there. This is why I didn't shower. I learned that my guys did not have access to hot water. So if my students didn't have access to hot water, I was compelled, I felt convicted, I need to be with them.
See, now that's something right there that I don't think a lot of times we talk enough about, because I think that's a whole nother level of humility to say that I'm not over here to stunt on you or to, you can honor me, but that's real. Because, you hear the stories of, even in America, people who don't, properly manage their level of success, and they stunt on the wrong people. And it's just, wow.
No, when you go, let me tell you now, when you go, I've learned, and this is what I had a mentor. I had someone with more missionary experience share some wisdom with me. So shouts out to the San Diego Bible College. I look forward to working with you all, and hopefully we'll be able to do where we talked about something in February where we'll go to San Diego. But this is what was shared with me. Pastor West, next year you only need 3 outfits. I learned this year I packed too many clothes. When you do missionary work, you never want to outdress the community you're going to. So you need an outfit on your back, you need one in your suitcase, and you need one for emergency.
Wow.
Did you hear what I said? The majority of the items I took to Africa, I would say 75% I brought back empty suitcases. 75% of what I took, I left in Africa. And so I'm telling you right now, no, you're not going to Africa to showcase fashion. You're going to Africa to share the word of God.
Yeah.
And you're going to teach it morning, noon, night, late in the midnight hour. That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
I would advise you, if you really like your shoes, kicks that much, don't take those. And I say that because we're walking in the dirt. We're walking in the dirt everywhere we go. That's what we're doing. And so I'm forewarning those who are saying they want to go, be prepared for ministry. Generational wisdom, Pastor Kyle, I'm praying that your generation will embrace global missionary work. There's so many places. We're just starting to scratch the surface. We are responsible right now through Gospel Link. So we have Zambia. We're also responsible for Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
There are 200 pastors, Pastor Kyle, that's looking for partners.
Wow.
I can't cover 200 pastors. You can't cover 200 pastors. So to those who are watching, if you really want to do global ministry, if you really want to establish healthy global partnerships, I want you to reach out to us. We're going to have some virtual meetings in late July after the team returns from Zambia and they're rested. We're going to have global meetings so that way we can share with people how you can get involved. And I want to share this right now. Before you think that I'm about to make an emotional plea for your checkbook, put your checkbook away. Because although there is a need for finances, there is more so a need for resources.
Yep.
Did you hear what I said?
Yep.
So when we travel next year and we have a 3 suitcase limit, 2.5 pieces of luggage will just be resources because that's what's needed.
No, and I'm grateful that you said that because a lot of times, I think even in America, we can become so flashy. And it's just, let's stay focused. Let's realize what we're really here for. It's not, ministry isn't as cute as sometimes we make it over here. Yeah. And so, no, that's really good. And so one of the things I want to kind of end our episode on today, and I think that this has been a really awesome discussion. So I want you guys to know we really do appreciate you tuning in. Coming across your guys' screen right now are some really cool photos of my dad walking with some really cool animals. And I want to end this episode like this. And one of the things I want to do is really make sure people have an understanding that you went over there and it was also pretty fun. You were able to see some really cool stuff. How was that for you?
It was great. Yeah. The cultural aspect of it really blew my mind.
Yeah,
it just really did. To go over there and to be able to really physically touch cheetahs and elephants. Yeah. To really be able to interact with the people. I was at the university, but then I was able to go into the city, in the modern city, the original city. Just an unbelievable, life-changing experience. Yeah. Yes, sir.
And I think that's pretty cool. We had had a few jokes, about, you walking with the cheetahs and stuff, but I think that stuff is cool. It's always really amazing for us to be able to go different places and see just the creation of, and the genius of our God. Yeah. To be able to know that, there's some cool technology and stuff, but the technology of the animals.
Let me share this. You'll like this. Going on a safari, this is what I saw and I respect. I saw animals respect boundaries.
Yeah.
Did you hear what I said?
Yeah.
I went to a place where the animals were in their areas, but you could tell there's a respect for boundaries. Mm-hmm. I wish I could take pastors there so we could just sit in the safari, watch the animals, and then pray that we could establish healthy boundaries.
Yeah.
Here in the States. Mm-hmm. Now, not only do they respect boundaries, but also the animals know how to work together.
Yeah.
Did you hear what I said? Mm-hmm. Because in some of the areas, you would see animals, herds blended in that I never thought would be able to survive. But we're learning that's a part of their survival. So again, here in the States, generational wisdom, I pray that my generation can help your generation understand that there are some communities that churches need to blend in order to survive.
Man, I think that's a great way to end today's episode. It's all about togetherness. Let's continue to work together. Dad, I'm happy you made it back.
Thank you.
Happy everything is good, and I'm excited for the future. So listen, you all, thank you so much for tuning into Generational Wisdom with us. We love you. God bless you. And we will see you all next Thursday right here on the greatest church network that I know, YLC Network. I'll see you.